grab your popcorn, grab your decapitated head, get your butter, get your bag of blood. This is the 2022 edition of the 31 Days of Dread, where Peter A. DeLuca, aka Pad, your boy here, the film buff, does one horror movie a day, and that's me talking. I'm your host. I'm not a vampire. I'm almost a zombie because I've just been doing nothing but watching these movies so I can discuss them all with you. But here it is, the 31 Days of Dread. Everyone, I am so excited to bring you these movies. We're doing modern day horror for the first time ever. We're barely even going to hit 2021. We're going to focus on 2022. So roll over in that coffin and let's go. AKA Patters, but we're trying something different. Here we go. The experiments of running a podcast. I'm talking to you with the microphone, like the center of the microphone in the center of my mouth. And the reason for this is because, I don't know, my most current run, my microphone's been one-sided. So, like, one side of the microphone's been the closest to my mouth. And that's because a lot of the times I'm reading my notes, I'm reading things off of Wikipedia, I'm digging up quick news articles to validate a little bit what I'm talking to all about. And the volume was off. It was all right, not left. But here we go. Welcome to it. Thank you for sticking with me. I apologize for any technical issue leading up into this episode. We're still talking horror movies. We're talking Kevin Ko. He's our director. This guy's Chinese. And I made a mistake leading into this episode. I called this a Korean horror movie. It's in fact a Chinese horror movie. And Kevin Ko, I'm not familiar with any other of his movies other than this. Incantation, available right now on Netflix, probably available forever on Netflix. But he looks like he's a seasoned filmmaker. The guy has a filmography. Does this movie push me to discover more of him? Probably not. But he does have a movie in 2018 called Dude's Manual, and I'm very curious about that. But why are we talking about this movie? And that's always the point when it comes to the 31 Days of Dread. We're in year 6, by the way, of the 31 Days of Dread. We're smack middle in November. We should be doing Thanks Flicking right now, but look, we're catching up. A lot of things happen. All of it documented on this very podcast. And we've been doing a lot of drawing too. We know drawing soaks up a lot of my time. But here we go. We have a family's history in this movie, very much like our previous episode, Lock and Key. And the family performs a ritual to keep these demons at bay. And we have the youngins that come in and they mess it all up. And they slowly get possessed one by one in a found footage, first-person perspective movie. A lot of times, I'm not drawn to movies like this. I'm really not. But here we go. Someone I follow on TikTok said, check it out. It's a good movie. I'm sitting down with the girl. She likes the scary movies. Like I said, everything runs through horror. Getting the hell scared out of you gives you a rush. And that is the addiction of horror movies. So we sat down and watched it, and along the way, it was like, okay, the logic of found footage movies and first person perspective movies, as created by the Blair Witch, the logic of it gets to you. Eventually you're like, how did they get that shot? Why is the camera out? You say these things to yourself, but this movie moved at a well enough clip, meaning it was fast, and the shots and the danger and the creepy elements that were portrayed are there. And we have all the things we love in horror. We have lover endangerment, we have possession, we have child endangerment, we have children talking to demons. Really cool stuff, okay? And here we go. Like, we have a full recommendation, Incantation, and I'm happy to bring this movie to you. I'm happy to recommend it because I just feel like this movie's underneath a lot of people's radars. Now, given it's subtitled, given you're going to have to read while you're watching this movie, I know it especially sucks during some of the exposition where they explain to you the rules of the demons and like this and that. But here's the funny thing. Earlier we spoke about Barbarian, which I'll say it again. The internet wants that movie to be the biggest thing ever. And Barbarian, we have echoing scenes. Barbarian has this tunnel scene. So does this movie. And the tunnel scenes are nearly mirrored. I mean, someone really should put like a side-by-side comparison of the two of them up and kind of like red letter media style. Because it's interesting. It really is. Did one inspire the other? I'm not sure of the time frames of some of the releases. But look, this movie's there. This movie's a ton of fun. I do want to watch it again to kind of get a little bit more of the history of this curse that's infected this family. A little bit, understanding a little bit more about the ritual they were trying to do. How it was broken, the rules of it all. That's a lot of the fun of rewatching some of these. Like you want to call them like occult horror or cult horror. Like it's very much there. This is very much like Hereditary, Rosemary's Baby. But the characters are again, like everything eventually comes down to the characters. I think the characters and the performances are there. Like you kind of you get a little bit of anxiety with these people as they try to dissect everything, and we have a lot of atmosphere. Like you feel like you're in another country when you're watching this movie. There's one sequence where it just randomly starts snowing, and it's maybe not random, but you kind of say to yourself like, "Wow, this is probably like a quickly shot, low budget movie. Was this planned, or did they just show up one night to shoot this? Like to shoot what they could, to shoot what they were scheduled to shoot, and it started snowing and started getting like a little bit of this light snowfall." And you say to yourself while you're watching this movie, like, was this planned? If it was, wow, like bravo, because it's awesome. And I said this last night. Last night I did a live stream where I did like a flip through introduction into the Art of Iron Man 3, book that the Marvel Studios puts out. And there's a lot of concept artwork with snow in that. And I said during that live stream that there's just something about a character in snow that it always sells and it always moves. It just captures you, really gets your imagination fired. And there's a similar sequence in this movie where the snowfall alone, it really creates like a whimsy. It's awesome. And I think that's one of the reasons why there's always going to be Christmas movies, because that's a real reason to shoot in snow. But everyone, a little bit of a tangent there. Check out Incantation, available right now on Netflix. What's up next? Look, we have Studio 666, we have Scream, we have Terrifier 2, and we might be wrapped. That might be it. We're almost there, everyone. We're not quite hitting 31 movies for the 31 Days of Dread. We're getting close. We're going to call it, and then we're going to move on. I love you. Rock and roll. The future of film is horror, and thanks for all of that, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me. Getting back to my point there. The future is horror. The future of cinema is horror. So everyone here, and I've never, ever, in all these years, I've never made this request. But everyone that we highlight, every single filmmaker, male, female, ghoul, goblin, you know the drill. But check them out. Find them on a streaming platform. I usually highlight how I watch these movies
on which platform, even if I rented it or bought it, so you guys know a little bit of the price range. It's important that we support all of these movies and all of these filmmakers because they are the future. The future is horror. Thanks for hanging out.